Alright, what is up, YouTube boxing family? It is Krod7435 here. We are back with another good video for today. We're going to be talking about Mr. Devin the Dream Haney. Alright, so let's talk about Devin Haney. For those of you that don't know, Devin Haney, he is a lightweight champion at 135 for the WBC title. But we're going to go into a little bit of discussion where Devin Haney got into a really heated conversation debate by Mauricio Suleiman, in which Mauricio Suleiman has stated that Devin Haney is not the WBC champion and George Kambosos is the undisputed lightweight champion, in which it was later then reverted by the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman that Devin Haney, he is basically still their champion, but I believe he is called the WBC Pride champion. So I wanted to talk about this and get into some details because Devin Haney, he is a very extremely talented fighter, and the WBC does not want to give Devin Haney his respect. And it's really terrible because Devin Haney, he is a very talented, fighter, and he deserves everything out of his own, resume to prove it. Right now, Devin Haney is 27-0, 15 knockouts, no losses, no draws, and as of yet, I believe this is his, let's see, I want to say this is his 4th title defense that he had against Jojo Diaz. So, yeah, Devin Haney, he has a good career, and it's very good that he has a successful campaign at lightweight, but for those of you that don't know, Devin Haney, he is definitely considering moving up if he can't get the fight with George Kambosos Jr., which I do not believe that will happen because George Kambosos looks like he is not wanting to fight Devin. And, George Kambosos, he is a very, how should I say, very, very contradictive person, and he does not want to, hold his end of what the bargain as a world champion to give Devin Haney the opportunity to unify for undisputed. The problem that I have with George Kambosos and the WBC is that the WBC knows what they're doing wrong, and I think the issue is just that they don't want Devin Haney to become another Floyd Mayweather in front of them. For those of you that don't know, Devin Haney, he is a very smart, intellectual businessman. He did everything from the ground up, and he basically showed to the entire world that you don't need a promoter in boxing, you just need you. And I think a lot of fighters fail to do that because the sport of boxing is so evil to the point where you don't know who to trust. You don't know where you don't know where to start. You don't know, where's like the best, money being given, and it's very difficult to find those, connections in boxing to help you grow as a fighter. And I think the issue for Devin Haney is that Devin Haney, he doesn't want to, let somebody tell him what to do. But on top of that, with him being his own boss and him working with Eddie Hearn, it's also a very difficult, strategy to try to get the most money with Eddie. And then if you're not able to get the big fights with Eddie, then you might have to do business with other promotional networks that are willing to give you that type of money. But I think Devin Haney is he's obviously an extremely talented fighter, and he has everything in the bag to dominate boxing. But the problem is just that he needs his opportunities while it's given to him, and nobody doesn't want to give him those opportunities. So let's go right into what the WBC said as far as what Mauricio Suleiman said about Devin Haney. he basically said Devin Haney is not the WBC champion, and George Kambosos is the undisputed champion. In which, if that's gonna be true, why isn't Devin Haney being stripped and given the belt to Kambosos? See now, what I don't like out of this is that Mauricio Suleiman, he's a lying piece of shit, and he doesn't really have too much of a brain to think. But it's really sad that Devin Haney has to come out of his way and actually talk out of his own mind to defend himself, and the WBC can't even have a sit-down conversation with Devin to talk about this. But on top of that, I think Devin Haney, in my honest view, he needs to file lawsuit charges against the WBC, because if you are going to be fraudulent in your own sanctioning body, you should be held accountable for your belt. See now, Devin Haney, I'm not so sure what he'll be planning on doing, but it would be good to see Devin Haney file a lawsuit against the WBC if they do plan to go this route. I don't know if Devin will be stripped or whatever, but if anybody out of his team can tell me more information, that would be good. I would appreciate it. Shout out to Devin Haney or anybody else that could be watching out of his own camp. You guys are amazing. But this is my suggestion. I think Devin Haney needs to file charges against the WBC. Because if the WBC does come out of their way and say Devin Haney is no longer their champion, and now George Kambosos is the undisputed champion, that is a fraudulent. Like basically, it's illegal fraud. It's fraud by. I forgot like what that policy is in the law books, but basically, George Kambosos knows he's not the WBC champion. And if you're going to sit here and lie for somebody to say, "Oh, well, he is a WBC champion because he got the franchise status," blah blah blah, in which George Kambosos never he never requested the WBC franchise title, then at the end of the day, it does not make him the undisputed champion. He is unified. That's it. So the issue with this whole problem is that Devin Haney, he's being froze out. He's not being respected for who he is as a champion. And the problems is that Devin Haney knows he is in a bad situation, but I think if he really wants to keep his status at lightweight a little bit longer till he moves up to 140, 147, I think Devin needs to really start pushing the fight with Kambosos more, and he needs to start, calling out the WBC on their own mental retardation. See now, like I said, I think Devin should file charges. I don't know if that is legal to do so, but it would be nice that Devin, actually does that, because I think Devin, he deserves his just due as a champion. But the problem is just that a lot of people don't want to try to speak up on this, and they want to just try to you know basically like basically hide it under the rug to try to think that nobody's not going to find out. And I don't know. I think it's really absolutely stupid. Um, and I think Devin needs to get his just due, man. But I will say that until then, I think Devin, he needs to try to work something out with Eddie Hearn to try to get that Kambosos fight. But if Kambosos can't get a pop on with Devin, I just say move up, man. It may seem hard for me to say that, or harsh for me to say that, but I'm just I'm just saying out of tough love that you deserve better, and you don't need somebody telling you what to do. By way of the WBC saying that, oh well, you're not our champion at 140, but if you become a champion at 1 or no, what? Devin Haney is not the champion at 135, but he will be the champion at 140. But if Cambosos or Teofimo Lopez become champion, then they can take away his belt too at the 140 without challenging for it. That's basically Mauricio Suleiman. Like, like in a nutshell. Mauricio Suleiman is trying so hard to keep Devin Haney away from all the big, dogs that are afraid of him, minus Tank Davis or whoever in future divisions. But if Devin Haney is such a fucking threat, why not take him out now instead of waiting for him to get better later? Because if he is that big of a problem, why the fuck are you freezing him out? So I don't know, man. You know, I think Devin Haney, he has more on the table than he can chew on at higher weight divisions, but at 135, man, I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's fair to say that Devin Haney, he has everything that he can ask for from Eddie Hearn to get the most money with him. In which, it's not just Eddie Hearn giving him the money, he's making more money off the back end, which is good. But at the same token, it's just like, he needs to, make a really tough decision. Like, does he really want to take a risk in trying to, how should I say, like, basically, does he really want to take a risk in trying to, like, find a way to get the WBC to, accept him as a champion? Like, knowing that the WBC, they obviously don't want to, make Devin Haney a noticeable, person in boxing. And at this point, I think Devin should just move up. I don't think Cambosos is going to be truthful to his word to say, oh yes, don't worry, like me and Devin Haney will fight, but I just need to see if he's impressive and his performance, levels are good enough for me. Uh, uh, like like seriously, it's absolutely disrespectful, and I don't understand like why the hell Devin's being froze out, and it's really evil because Devin, he didn't do anything wrong other than just say to Cambosos that I want to fight you. I'll fight you on Jupiter if I have to, but the fact that he can't actually be truthful to his word, for Devin to give Devin the opportunity for Undisputed, in which Devin, he does not need Cambosos for Undisputed. He can go chase Undisputed at 140. Yeah, he could chase for Undisputed at 140, 147, but it'd be better for him to get Undisputed now at whatchamacallit, at whatchamacallit, 135, so that way Devin can get Undisputed, and then he can just automatically move up to 140 and become the number one mandatory to any sanctioning body. So I think that's why Devin is wanting to fight Kambosos at 135 to get the Undisputed out the way, beat his ass, and then move up to 140, because Kambosos, he's going to become like a multiple time champion in that division. Like, that's if somebody knocks him off, but still, Kambosos, he's still a name at 135, even if he loses to Devin Haney. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Um, I basically wanted to say my piece about the WBC not, recognizing Devin Haney as their champion, and then they immediately apologize, basically contradicting themselves to say Devin Haney, he's still our champion, but Kambosos, he's the WBC franchise champion, so therefore, we're gonna recognize him as undisputed, knowing that you're breaking your own fucking rules, with the franchise belt, because it's not a belt, it's a fucking trophy. So therefore, is it a belt or is it a trophy? Because if it is a trophy, it should just be a WBC trophy. It shouldn't be no fucking WBC belt with like Mauricio Suleiman's fat ass face on it. It should just be a fucking trophy. If it's gonna be a belt, make it a WBC super belt, similar to the WBA super, and then it's only there if you're unified. But if you want to become the real WBC champion, you have to face Devin Haney to seal the deal to claim your status as a champion for Undisputed. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'll see you guys around, and yeah, I hope I hope you guys have a good day and more videos coming on the way. All right, thank you guys. Bye.